Hi, thank you very much. So we're going to move to the next observation, and we will host Sanjay Deshpande. He's the CEO of a company called Uniken from India. Sanjay is responsible for the whole company as well as Chief Innovation Officer. So we are here to talk about innovation and security and how they tie together. Except being CEO, he has a past of practical and research experience. Practical because he led the Infosys mobile computing initiative in Europe, and theoretical within Tata Research. And so it's my pleasure to invite Sanjay to talk about identity-based digital secure delivery, which is a completely different angle on how we would secure ourselves into the future.
Thanks a lot. This is my 9th month in Israel. I came in November last year. I like the people and the food, both. That's important in life. So Uniken is an American incorporated company with 100 plus people R&D center in India. What I'm going to talk today is a direction for technology for enterprise computing, and it has a certain objective for that. It's based on some of our work that we have done with the Indian defense and the banking and financial services industry out there. What's the objective for doing such a refresh of enterprise computing? I believe that enterprises today need to accelerate innovation in a new digital enterprise. And while they want to do that, they should ensure that they don't expose themselves to very high security risks. So as a CEO for any enterprise, the core objective, why he comes to the job every day, is he wants to deliver new services. He wants to do that for millions of users. He wants to accelerate innovation. He wants to ensure that the security risk is reduced while doing that, and of course manage the cost to ensure that he takes it off the bottom line. This translates to a CIO challenge. The CIO is in the middle of extreme complexity, because the existing enterprise computing architectures that he has does not facilitate that movement towards faster innovation. He has to deal with laptops, desktops, thin clients, thick clients, hybrid apps, and all kinds of stakeholders. So what he's looking for is simplicity. He's looking for an environment where he can quickly deploy and deliver these services. Now, he can do that if that's a single application. If it's a single application, single user, no problem. But that's not what reality is. He is dumped with zillions of applications and zillions of users. Now that translates to the CISO challenge. Now the CISO is like my mom when I was in teenage, So what do you go to her? I want to do this. She'll say, no, you can't do that. I want to launch a new service. No, you can't do that. And there is a reason for that. The reason is, what can the CISO trust? Can the CISO trust the computing systems, the hardware? No, they can't, because enterprises don't make them. Can they trust the systems and the processes or the operating system itself? No, they can't. So he is stuck with the top block. He is stuck with enterprise applications, data at rest, and data in motion. That's the only control zone that he has or she has. So the objective now is, how do you create a trusted environment on an ecosystem which is fundamentally untrusted? Because historically, the bottom two circles were covered by consumer-driven technologies and ad-driven business models. So their objective is to create more and more open systems, open digital world, whereas the enterprise needs a closed, controlled, trusted ecosystem. So we are in a fix here. So what we believe at Uniken is maybe there's a way out. And the way out is to probably rethink about the fundamentals of enterprise computing and take the story back in the hands of computer scientists, because I believe that they have spent a lot of time talking about P equal to NP. I think it's time we look at secure computing at the heart. So what I mean by that, if you see digital identity is always thought in the context of end users. We talk about two-factor authentication, three-factor authentication, and many-factor authentications. Digital identity needs to be extended and embedded right into the applications, right into the systems processes, data, devices, and hardware. What that means is you should have the capability to detect and identify each of these entities and not just the user. That takes us to authentication. Authentication in the current model essentially is based on what I call as independent identities. So you have the login password, OTP, digital certificates given to two parties, maybe the client and the server. And typically the authentication is user to app. So you are exposed to man-in-the-middle attack because you can simply read that information either in the browser or on the machine or on the network. What you need is a fundamental shift from the current authentication model to what we have been knowing as mutual authentication. But mutual authentication done in a certain way. Mutual authentication done with a new construct called mutual identity. So mutual identity is A and B's identity fused together and split so that you're essentially doing mutual authentication at a fundamental level. To extend that idea, you need to not just stop at user and app. You need to go to user and user. You need to go to app and app, app and data, and app and device. That completes the identity and authentication contours. This is a slightly involved diagram. I'll just explain what I mean by this. So the next step is what you need to do is to build application networks. So historically, the last 30, 40 years since TCP/IP was invented, we've been focusing, network engineers have been focusing a lot on device-to-device networking. So IPsec is a good step. Appreciate key-based DH is a good step. But that just connects the devices, especially where you have a lot of control on them. What you need now is to extend that and take it to the next level. And now you say, I need to do application-to-application networking. So I need to ensure that only if application 1 is authorized to talk to application 4, they should talk. If not, then they should not talk. And this should happen in the mutually authenticated and encrypted world. So one starts seeing this in the context of SSL. SSL, good for encryption. SSL, mutual authentication, question mark. What we believe is unless you take the story into this kind of a virtual box, as a CEO, CIO, and CISO, you would not be able to put these apps rapidly out there into the market. That's what you want to do. You want to increase your pace of innovation. That's the holy grail, what I'm putting out there, but that should be the objective. Identity, authentication, access, authorization, in-transit security, and for all those things, users, app, data, and devices, most of the time, we tend to deal with the top 2 layers. We don't tend to go layers below that. So I think that's a good map to look at. So does it work? So all that I said, does it really work? Well, it has been working. We have been, delivering this technology for more than 1 million users now. India has a lot of users, so 1 million is a small number in that sense. But yes, some of these concepts that I have been talking about, it indeed works with some of the large banks and ISVs on clouds out there. It is delivered as a platform, 3 components, the app technology that goes to the devices, a private network to create the application-to-application network, and a digital delivery platform to deliver digital services at a very high speed to the end user. So in summary, what you need is 3 things. Digital identities for all the entities and not just users, applications, processes, data, and devices. You need to just take it deep down into the architecture. 2, you need to do mutual authentication between all these entities. And 3, you need massively scalable private application networks. So as a CIO, you have a solution, essentially, when you're trying to accelerate your organization. As a future, these are some of the ideas that we are working on in our lab. And the last one is my personal passion. I'm out here to discuss. Anybody interested, I'm here. We are also out in the exhibition hall. Thank you. Thanks a lot.